Hi everyone, welcome to your fourth class. Today we are going to see the meaning of the second Yoga Sutra. Here Sage Patanjali lays out the purpose and definition of yoga. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. This sutra gets straight into the heart of why we practice yoga. He defines yoga as the cessation of the modifications or fluctuations of the mind. Now let's see what this word chitta means. In English, there is no equivalent word, so we call it the mind. But in yogic philosophy, there are 16 dimensions to the mind. We can understand it something as a mind field. And today we'll discuss three aspects called manas, ahankara, and buddhi. Now, manas is what brings knowledge to us through the senses. It is the dimension closest to the sense organs and it organizes the sensory input. Next is ahankara. This is our sense of identity. This aspect of chitta causes the notion of I-ness or myness in us. See, we are identified with our body, family, race, religion, nation, planet, universe. How one sets up their identity determines how they function in this world. If someone has a very narrow or limited identity of themselves, they will function only within those confines. But if someone else expands their I-ness in a way and sees themselves in every form of life, the way they transact in this world will be completely different. The next is buddhi or intellect. This is the logical, analytical, decision-making faculty of the mind, rooted in knowledge that is gathered through the manas and functions in alignment with one's ahankara. The chit or consciousness powers all these aspects. Now that we have a fair understanding of what the word chitta means, let's look at vritti. Vritti comes from the root word vrit, which means to move or proceed. So chitta vritti can be understood as modification, movement, activity, waves or impulses of the mind. Now why does the mind move? According to Sage Vyasa in his commentary, he says that the mind can exist in one of 5 states or chitta bhumis. They are Kshipta, Mudha, Vikshipta, Eka Grata or Nirodha. So the first chitta bhumi is Kshipta. It is scattered or monkey mind. It is astira and unstable. Swami Vivekananda describes this mind as that of a drunken monkey, bitten by a scorpion and possessed by a demon. You can imagine how frustrated, agitated and distracted this state can be. The next is Mudha, which is dull or buffalo mind. It is infatuated, obsessed and stubborn with no inclination to observe, to act or to respond. The third is Vikshipta or the oscillating mind, like a pendulum, sometimes focused, sometimes distracted. Most of us are in this state most of the time. We are able to focus on a certain activity or object for a while and then we get distracted. The next state is Eka Grata or single-pointedness. Here the mind is able to sustain its focus for a long period of time. Meditation can happen only in this state. Remember we spoke about Atha, being in the present. That is also possible only in this state. When Ekagrata develops, it culminates into what is known as Nirodha state, where the mind is in total absorption with one object or activity. There are no distractions and no other thoughts enter the mind. The objective of the practice of yoga, as we have seen so far, is to move towards Ekagrata and Nirodha. If we are mindful of what information we acquire through our senses, if we can expand our sense of I-ness and refine our buddhi to look inwards, we are training our mind to get in touch with the very source of our existence, the core of our being, which is the chit or pure consciousness. The entire experience of your life is determined by the condition of your mind. In the Manusmriti it is said, Mana eva manushyanam bandha mokshayoho. The mind can be the cause for bondage or liberation. The same idea is conveyed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5. Uddared atmana atmanam Na atmanam avasadayet, atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu, atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Elevate yourself by the power of your mind, for the mind can be your friend or your enemy. To conclude today's class, we saw the definition of yoga as given by Sage Patanjali. We learned the different aspects of Chitta and the 5 states of mind, or the Chitta Bhumis. And we have also understood that if we train our mind enough to stay in the state of Eka Grata and Nirodha, we can enhance this experience of our life. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week.